And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Friday, the 5th of August. And it's wonderful to have your company on this glorious day here in Brisbane. Right now, 19 degrees and sunny. You couldn't ask for better. It's just looking so beautiful out there today. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have for you today is our daily India report, which will be towards the end. We'll look at the upcoming India Day fair, functions and events, and of course, we will always start off with our daily news update. So the government is looking at the climate change, and the bill has passed the lower house as per this report.
Anthony Albanese has declared that an end to the climate wars is within sight.
Not a bad day in the office for the new government, getting the Greens on board.
The question now is that the bills, as amended, be agreed to.
This was a relatively modest step in the battle to curb climate change, but it represents a substantial leap in Australian federal politics.
The ayes have it. The bill is passed.
After years of division, a more ambitious target to reduce greenhouse gas emissions will soon be enshrined in law, and the Albanese government has got its first big legislative win.
On climate, rather than rally the same troops to dig a deeper trench in the same spot, I wanted us to find new allies, and new allies we have found.
The bill commits Australia to cutting emissions by 43% of 2005 levels by 2030, and it's a key milestone on the road to reaching net zero emissions by 2050. It is less than what scientists say Australia should be doing right now, but within Parliament there's a consensus that some progress, even incremental progress, is better than none.
Mr Turnbull, will your leadership be safe?
The neg is all but dead.
Now, in politics, you have to focus on what you can deliver. We won't be in a position to take that legislation forward.
The ghosts of climate change debates past have hung over this place for years.
This is coal. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared.
Well, colleagues, welcome to the joint party room.
The Coalition, long the biggest obstacle to new climate action, opposed the bill. Some Conservatives and Nationals MPs simply don't agree with the target, while many moderates who do claimed the legislation just wasn't necessary because a target can be set via regulation and a ministerial signature.
It's done. Done.
From my perspective, if the 43% target required legislation, then I would have wanted to vote for it in a heartbeat.
Only one Liberal MP, Bridget Archer, decided to defy her leader and cross the floor to support Labor.
It is important that we do move forward and we act now and not delay until the eve of the next election.
Due to the division within the opposition, the government made a point of negotiating at the fringes with the pro-climate action Teal Independents, who won what were once blue ribbon Liberal seats at the May election.
The honourable member's amendment makes it even more explicit. The government is happy to support it.
But in this new parliament, the Coalition and the Teals are not vital to the passage of bills. Arguably, it's the Greens, with their 12 key votes in the Senate, who have compromised the most. They wanted a 75% reduction target and amendments to stop new coal and gas developments, but secured only relatively small concessions.
If the bill didn't pass and we didn't vote for it, we'd still be stuck with a low target, and we wouldn't have the tools that we were able to gain during the negotiations to help us stop coal and gas mines in the future. But this is just round one.
The Greens leader says he's pleased the 43% figure is being viewed as a flaw and that it could be ratcheted up in the coming years. But his main focus is securing future concessions that'll reduce emissions.
At the moment, under our environment laws, you can give projects the go-ahead even if it's going to make climate change worse. That's wrong. There's a big hole in our environment laws and we've got to fix those. The government is going to have to come back within a year with some rules that explain how they're going to try and meet this 43% target. They'll need the Greens' support for that, and we'll be pushing as part of that to say you can't open new coal and gas projects.
This afternoon, the Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek made a preliminary decision to reject a proposed Central Queensland coal mine backed by Clive Palmer. The primary concern was the risk posed to the Great Barrier Reef, though the timing is interesting. Despite all today's developments, you'd have to be an optimist to be confident that the so-called climate wars have been vanquished. They may have just entered a new phase.
Clearly, there's a lot of people who want something legislated. They want the so-called climate wars to be over. We don't just want to end them, we've got to win them.
Former Wallaby turned ACT independent David Pocock will be the final vote required for the climate bill to pass the Senate. He'll support it, but is hopeful both major parties will soon commit to doing much more.
I think it's a symbolic.
And it is symbolic, and it is wonderful. So here's that news about Clive Palmer, and the big businesses are also calling on climate change as well.
Andrew McKellar, welcome to The Business.
Great to be with you.
The bill has passed with the support of your members.
Business has been supportive through this process. I think the most important thing for business is that we see that there is a clear plan. We know that there are actually many opportunities to create investment, jobs, economic growth if we can get that plan in place. So, look, the right thing here, what we've been encouraging is really for all parties in the parliament to get behind this. It's in the national interest. We need to meet our international obligations, and really there are a lot of opportunities there.
And on that point, we heard from the Prime Minister in his press conference just following the passing of the bill, essentially saying the coalition has isolated itself from the business community, urging it to support the bill in the Senate next month. What's your message?
Well, we have said consistently now for a number of months, we think this is something that should be supported by all parties in the parliament. It's in the national interest. It's a tough plan, but it's achievable. So, you know, there is a level of ambition there. We need to lift our game to meet these targets. But there's also opportunity, and we think that it will create jobs, it will generate investment.
The PM singled out the peak business groups like yourselves as supporting the bill. I mean, you touched on it then, but why is this the way forward for business?
Well, it's really about certainty. So what we're trying to do is attract investment to Australia. It's about also ensuring that business has access to secure and affordable energy supply. We've seen over the past couple of months the disruption that can be caused with the energy markets, whether it be electricity or gas, particularly on the east coast of Australia, if things are not functioning well. Now, we need to get in place that significant investment in renewable energy capacity. There has to be a transition. We have to be realistic about this. But I think having a very clear plan about how that's going to be done, understanding the level of investment that's required, then that's what business is looking for.
And if the debate over the emissions reduction target continues in Canberra, what does it do to business confidence on climate-related investments?
Well, look, I think this is where we do hope that the legislation will be passed. It's gone through the House of Representatives now. Let's see what comes out of the Senate process. We think that really, if all parties are behind it, then it will provide greater confidence. But look, on balance, one has to expect that this will succeed now. There's a lot of hard work ahead. There will be some adjustments that are required as part of the process, but in the end, business is confident that the Australian economy will be a winner out of this process.
Well, on that point about the economy, the Prime Minister says the bill provides the framework for 600,000 jobs to be created. Is that a credible figure?
Look, they've done their modelling. They have obviously got to update that in terms of...
Yes, the modelling's been done, and that little update is also required. Right now we go to the other news where ministers backed Dominic Perrottet on that decision. Here's that report.
A cabinet depleted, a leader damaged, and now the government is digging in.
The Parliamentary Liberal Party has had a very traumatic period over the last couple of years, and certainly in recent weeks.
This week started with the Fair Trading Minister, Eleni Patinos, being sacked over allegations of workplace bullying, which she denies. Then the Deputy Liberal Leader and Trade Minister Stuart Ayres resigned, a casualty of the John Barilaro trade appointment. He also says he's done nothing wrong.
I think it's the right decision, and I think, obviously this was a matter about whether the minister had public confidence.
The controversy has also caused concern for some about Dominic Perrottet's political instincts, but his colleagues are backing him publicly.
So I think he's doing an amazing job, and it's the role of all of us in the Parliamentary Liberal Party and National Party to get behind him.
I don't think you get to be Premier of New South Wales without good political judgment.
And now the Transport Minister is offering his services as the new Liberal Deputy.
It is certainly my intent to provide Dominic Perrottet, whether I'm Deputy or not, with as much energy and as much frank advice.
While Mr Elliott is a confirmed contender, the other front-runner is moderate power broker and treasurer Matt Keane. Skills Minister Alistair Henskins from the Premier's right faction is also being discussed as a potential candidate.
Look, there's some great candidates.
So there you are, some great candidates, and we'll keep you updated to see what transpires out of that. Right now, let's go to Victoria, where almond growers are struggling with the New South Wales beehive ban.
Fruit and nut trees near Mildura have started blooming, and that means almond pollination season is about to start. But finding enough bees this year has been difficult.
We thought COVID was a bit of a headache, and this is probably twice as bad.
Victoria's almond industry has traditionally relied heavily on bees from New South Wales, but hives from north of the border are banned after the deadly Varroa destructor mite was discovered at the port of Newcastle in June.
We're talking tens of, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars of lost production.
Thousands of New South Wales hives are now stranded on the northern side of the Murray, sitting in paddocks along the Sturt Highway. Victorian hives that were in New South Wales can get permits to come home, but only if they've been there less than 3 months.
I would estimate between 5,000 and 7,000 hives of bees that couldn't go across because they'd been in New South Wales too long.
It's left farmers scrambling to book hives from South Australia, Queensland and elsewhere in Victoria. Those bees are now being rigorously tested by Victoria's State Quarantine Response Team.
Ready? Yep.
Agriculture Victoria has issued permits for more than 75,000 hives to enter the northwest for almond pollination, but that's only about half the number that's needed.
That is going to put a lot of pressure on the bees that we do get in to do the job. We'll be hoping for very, very good weather.
The poor busy bees, they won't be that busy, will they? And hats off to these guys doing their job. Couldn't handle that myself. Well, right now, a man has been extradited over the importation of $40 million worth of cocaine into Australia.
Stand up for me. Still.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday, and thank you for joining us on this Friday. A beautiful day out there, 19 degrees and sunny here in Brisbane. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to our daily India report.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you reports, interviews, features and more on India and the Indian diaspora. India continues to collect medals at the ongoing Commonwealth Games 2022. On day 6, judoka Tulika Mann won a silver medal in judo, while Saurav Ghoshal won India's first singles medal in squash. Day 6 for India at the CWG 2022 saw multiple wins yet again. Judoka Tulika Mann won a silver medal in judo after going down to Scotland's Sarah Adlington in the 78 kg plus final. In the men's singles squash, Saurav Ghoshal defeated England's James Willstrop to win India's first singles medal in the sport. In athletics, high jumper Tejaswin Shankar took home the bronze medal. This is the first high jump medal by an Indian at the CWG. In weightlifting, Lovepreet Singh and Gurdeep Singh bagged a bronze medal each in men's 109 kgs and 109 plus kg categories. Boxers Nikhit Zareen, Neetu Gangas and Husamuddin Mohammad advanced to the semi-finals to assure India of 3 more medals. In hockey, the Indian women's team progressed into the semi-finals with a 3-2 win over Canada in their last Pool A match. Also, the Indian men's hockey team registered a dominating 8-0 win against Canada in a men's Pool B match. In round 2 of the Lawn Bowls, the Indian women's pair of Lovely Chaubey and Nainmoni Saikia won their match 23-6. In the women's weightlifting 87 plus kg category, Purnima Pandey finished 6th with a combined best lift-off 228 kgs. India's biggest life insurer, Life Insurance Corporation, has entered into the latest Fortune Global 500 list after getting listed recently, while Reliance Industries has jumped 51 places. There is a new entrant to the latest Fortune Global 500 list. India's largest life insurance company, Life Insurance Corporation, after getting listed in the market, now has broken into the list. LIC has a revenue of $97.26 billion and a profit of $553.8 million. It was also ranked 98th on the just released Fortune 500 list. Reliance Industries also jumped 51 places to 104 on the 2022 list. This is the first time that LIC made it to the list, which ranks among listed companies by its sales. Reliance, with a revenue of $93.98 billion and a net profit of $8.15 billion in the latest year, has been on the list for 19 years. The list, topped by US retailer Walmart, has 9 Indian companies, 5 of them state-owned and 4 from the private sector. Only the debutant LIC, which came out with its IPO last fiscal, was ranked higher than Reliance among the Indian corporates. Indian Oil Corporation rose 28 places to 142nd rank, while Oil and Natural Gas Corporation climbed 16 places to 190. The list had 2 Tata Group firms, Tata Motors at 370 and Tata Steel at 435th spot. The Indian Ministry of Culture has released the official video of the Har Ghar Tiranga anthem, comprising stars from across the country. Not just Bollywood, but sports personalities like Virat Kohli is also a part of the video, released on social media platforms. To celebrate and commemorate 75 years of India's independence, the Indian Ministry of Culture posted the Har Ghar Tiranga anthem video featuring famous celebrities including Amitabh Bachchan, Kapil Dev, Virat Kohli, Anupam Kher and Asha Bhosle. The video showcases the spirit, strength and diversity of India from among sports, missile launches and army circles. Veteran actor Amitabh Bachchan lent his voice. Anushka Sharma, Virat Kohli, South star Prabhas, Anupam Kher, Asha Bhosle, Ajay Devgan, Akshay Kumar, Hardik Pandya, KL Rahul, Neeraj Chopra and PV Sindhu were among other celebrities spotted in the video. Prabhas is the only male actor from South India featured in this anthem video. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also part of the video, making an appearance towards the end. The Indian Health Ministry released a list of do's and don'ts to avoid contracting monkeypox. Declared a global health pandemic by the WHO, the ministry is making efforts to spread awareness to curb the rise in cases. With rising cases of monkeypox in the country, the Indian Health Ministry on August 3rd released a list of do's and don'ts to avoid contracting the disease. It underlined that anyone can catch the virus if they have had prolonged or repeated contact with an infected individual. Among the do's, the ministry advised isolating the infected person so that the disease does not spread, use of hand sanitizers, washing hands with soap and water, covering mouth with masks and hands with disposable gloves when coming close to a patient, and using disinfectants to sanitize the environment around. The don'ts state avoid sharing linen, beddings, clothes and towels among others with people who have tested positive for the infection. The ministry advised not to wash soiled linen or laundry of patients with those of non-infected persons and avoid public events even if one only exhibits symptoms of the disease. The ministry also said that there is a need to avoid all kinds of stigmatization against people who have contracted the disease, also to avoid believing any rumor or misinformation. Amidst the ongoing turmoil in the island nation of Sri Lanka, President Ranil Wickremesinghe on August 3rd thanked Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for providing timely economic assistance. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe on August 3rd thanked India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi for giving Sri Lanka timely economic assistance to his country as it faced the worst economic crisis in decades. He said this while addressing a ceremonial sitting of Parliament reconvened on August 3rd after a 7-day adjournment. He said, quote, "The Government of India under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given us a breath of life. On behalf of my people and that of my own, I convey our gratitude to Prime Minister Modi, the government and the people of India." Last week, Prime Minister Modi congratulated President Wickremesinghe and said that India will continue to be supportive of the quest for stability and economic recovery through established democratic means. The new Sri Lankan government faces the task of leading the country out of its economic collapse and restoring order after months of mass protests that forced President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to flee the country and resign. South actor and star Mahesh Babu will be re-releasing his romantic action drama Pokiri on his upcoming 47th birthday. On the occasion of his 47th birthday on August 9th, superstar Mahesh Babu's fans have decided to mark the special day with a special screening of his 2003 romantic action drama Pokiri. The show's collection will be donated to help children's heart operations and also for the education of poor kids through the MB Foundation. Special shows of Pokiri are being organized across various regions in the Telugu states and the US on August 9th. The response for the same has been phenomenal. Pokiri is the story of a wayward yet no-nonsense goon Pandu who falls in love with fitness instructor Shruti. Their love life falls apart when the former resists her advances. Later, Pandu locks horns with the notorious Don. Tamil drama film Gargi is all set to be streamed on Sony Live from August 15th. The digital release comes after a successful tenure at the cinema halls in July. Tamil courtroom drama Gargi will start streaming on Sony Live on August 12th. Starring Sai Pallavi in the title role, the critically acclaimed film was released in cinema halls on July 15th. Also starring Kali Venkat, Gargi is written and directed by Gautam Ramachandran and produced by Ravichandran Ramachandran, Aishwarya Lakshmi, Thomas George and Gautam Ramachandran. The film was released in Telugu and Kannada as well. The film revolves around a young school teacher who sets on a journey to prove her father's innocence with the help of a juvenile advocate who's never even seen the interiors of a court hall. In the film, Sai Pallavi plays the character of Gargi, while the film also stars Kali Venkat, R. Shivaji, Kavithalya Krishnan and Aishwarya Lakshmi.
மொத்த ஸ்டேட்டும் வித்து பார்க்கணும் மாதிரி இந்த மாதிரி மீடியா ட்ரையல் உள்ள ஒரு கேஸ்ல நீ அக்யூஸ்ட் டிஃபெண்ட் பண்ணி தோத்து போயிட்டீங்கன்னா வாழ்க்கையில அப்போ ஒரு கேஸும் கிடைக்காது.
Gargi, நீ யாரோட பொண்ணு? இதுக்கெல்லாம் பயப்படலாமா? ஒரு நிமிஷம் அப்பாவை நினச்சிக்கோ, தைரியம் தானாக வரும்.
Bollywood megastar Amitabh Bachchan has launched season's 14th of famous Kaun Banega Crorepati in the Indian city of Mumbai. Amitabh Bachchan unveiled the new Kaun Banega Crorepati season 14. Kickstarting on August 7th, the game show will celebrate 75 years of India's independence with a special episode that will feature Amir Khan, Sunil Chetri, MC Mary Kom and 2 decorated armed force officers. Big B has had a 22-year-old association with this show, and the latest season will mark his 13th outing as the host. That's all in today's bulletin.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for joining us on that. Well, right now, as I mentioned before, that India Day Fair is coming up. So we'll have a look at some of the scenes for that. Once again, Gopio Queensland presents iconic India Day Fair.
Celebrating India's Independence Day on 13th August.
Come experience India at no cost at Roma Street Parklands.
Experience India's culture, music and food.
You will be entertained from 10:30 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. by many talented artists.
The program will begin with a parade from various community organizations.
Finishing off with a grand finale laser light show.
Showstopper, one and only the Harbhajan Man, all the way from India.
Come join Gopio Queensland for a fun-filled family day and experience all that India has to offer.
For more information, visit our website www.gopioqueensland.org.
See you all there. Station sponsor, Gopio Queensland.
ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਰਭਜਨ ਮਾਨ। ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਂਡ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਦੇ ਸੱਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਬ੍ਰਿਸਬੇਨ ਵਿਖੇ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਾ। ਗੋਪੀਓ ਦੇ ਖਾਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਹੇਠ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਖਲੂਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਭਰਿਆ ਸੱਦਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਗੀਤ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਦਾ ਗੁਲਦਸਤਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਸਮੇਤ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ। ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ 13 ਅਗਸਤ ਨੂੰ।
Hello everybody, my name is Ashana Chandra and I'd like to invite you to India Day Fair on the 13th of August at Roma Street Parklands. See you all there, bye!
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday and there's so much that's happening in this weekend. Don't forget India Day Fair on the 13th, and it's wonderful to see the Gopio Queensland's India Day Fair banner up on the bridge and at Tabet Street and Brisbane City Hall, Victoria Bridge, and the whole town will be lit up in India's colours. And of course, Narendra Modi ji has launched that very beautiful campaign of Har Tiranga, which is making inroads right here into Australia as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we finish off for today, we'll take a look at some of the functions and events taking place, and wonderful to have your company. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday, the 5th of August. It's been wonderful having your company. Don't forget that tomorrow we have the 9 a.m. news, and at 10 we have Aapki Sehat, which is a special program produced by the Indian Medical Association of Queensland. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from us. See you then.